Sometimes celebrities did things that made absolutely no sense. Sometimes so did teenagers. Corey, Oliver said, I know you're like the survival expert and all, but, well, now you're covered in fire ants. Corey Brandt looked down and saw that he was indeed crawling with hundreds of agitated fire ants. They were running up his legs and his torso, crawling towards his neck. He looked at his camera on the ground, still pointing up at him, filming. He squeaked before turning on his heels and running toward the river as fast as his legs would carry him. A trail of ants chased him on the ground. Don't jump in the water, that'll make them bite, Oliver yelled as Corey ran. The twins gave chase. They caught up with the panicked TV star at the water's edge. He was frozen in place and still swarming with ants. They hadn't bitten him yet. He didn't move. What are you doing? Oliver panted. I can't decide which is worse. Corey stared at the brown water of the river. The ants or the piranha? What do I do? You faced this before, Oliver groaned. Remember, in the first season of Agent Zero, you were taken prisoner by the Assassin's Guild and tied to a stake in the desert of Kazakhstan. They smeared you with honey, and then they sent the ants after you? Oh, right, said Corey. That was a while ago. Yeah, could you remind me what I did to escape? You took your clothes off, Celia answered. Oliver looked sideways at her. What? She said he did. I remember that episode. You have to flick the ants off of you, Oliver explained. And yeah, get out of your clothes and get away from them. Once you start flicking, the ants are going to get mad and bite you, so you've got to move fast. I'm really glad you guys are such fans. Corey took a deep breath. And I'm glad I wore clean underwear today. Oliver and Celia stepped back. They didn't want the ants to turn on them. Fire ants could bite you a dozen times in just a few seconds. Ah! Corey screamed as he started flicking and tearing off his shirt and trousers. The ants started biting him. Ow! He yelled, ow, ow, ow! Now run! Oliver called. Stripped down to his boxer shorts, Corey Brandt ran screaming into the jungle. Oliver and Celia looked at each other, sighed, and gave chase. Slow down, Oliver called out. You don't need to run that far. But Corey Brandt wasn't stopping for anything. Just one bite from a fire ant would have been enough for him for a lifetime. They caught up to him back where he'd left his camera. He was standing there, filthy, watching the playback on the tiny screen. You know, with the right editing, this could be pretty sweet, he said, as the twins were catching their breath. Oliver set their backpack down and rested his head between his knees. He was not a fan of all this running. Sorry I lost my cool there, guys, Corey said. You were great. I'm really glad you pay such close attention to my shows. I'd be really in real trouble out here without you. Yeah. Corey? Celia said. Yeah, he looked at her. You probably don't want to stand on that same anthill again. Corey Brandt looked down and saw he'd gone right back to the spot he'd rolled in before, and once again, fire ants were racing up his legs. Ah! He yelled and bolted back toward the river, holding the camera this time. He didn't stop at the water's edge when he got there. He just jumped in. And so Celia and Oliver chased after the nearly naked celebrity through the jungle once more, leaping over fallen logs and tangled roots and branches that were bent and broken in strange patterns. They had never done so much sprinting in all of their lives. This day, like so many of their days, was not going at all as expected. Not for Oliver and Celia Naval, and not for the men watching them from the bushes, holding spears and blowguns at the ready. So that's just a little bit from We Dine With Cannibals, the second accidental adventure. Thank you.